These new chips are phenomenal.
Okay. Say no more, say no more. You've got me. So I did it. This is the new 2021 14-inch MacBook Pro M1 Max, and this is my original 2020 13-inch MacBook Pro M1, which is now referred to by Apple as the Pro on the go, due to it being lighter and thinner than its new counterpart. Now I went with the upgraded 10-core CPU and 24-core GPU, along with 32 gigs of RAM and the default 1TB SSD, which is more than enough space for me, as I also have a 1TB Samsung T7 drive, which I use as my editing disk. Now this will hopefully be replacing this, providing it can do one simple thing. So why did I upgrade so soon after getting the previous M1? Well, let me give you a little history lesson. Before this 13-inch, I had the 16-inch MacBook Pro, the Intel version, which had dedicated graphics and 32 gigs of RAM. And it was good, it was fast, and it did what I needed to at the time. But it was big, it was bulky and hard to carry around. And with various software updates, Premiere Pro was starting to lag badly. And if you're wondering, Premiere Pro is the video editing software I use from Adobe to create all of my YouTube content. So I thought, okay, let's see what these new M1s are like, and I ordered this, the 13-inch with an 8-core CPU and 8-core GPU and 16 gig of RAM, because I assumed with the new silicon these would be like super and fancy, and who would need extra RAM, right?
Wrong.
Now my experience with this model has been good. It's very fast at almost everything it does, especially when using M1 specific apps. It's nice and much smaller, so much easier to carry around and use on my lap, and the battery on it lasts forever. But Premiere Pro performance hasn't been great, and all I can put this down to is a lack of graphics processing and half the amount of RAM. The average time to render one of my videos on this, which basically means getting it ready for YouTube, compared to my original 16-inch was taking twice as long, even with the latest version of Premiere Pro installed, which supposedly supported the new M1 silicon processor. So rather than jump back to the 16-inch, I've been sucking it up.
That's what she said.
And waiting for my videos to render, which sometimes was taking up to an hour. I know, a whole hour, right? Poor me. But time is money, my friends, and during this hour, I would often sit there and consider jumping ship back to Windows. I know that would be heresy, but don't worry, I haven't, not yet. And this is why the new M1 Pro Max, or whatever it is they're calling it, with my one hope being that the 10-core CPU, 24-core GPU, along with doubling the RAM, can improve my Premiere Pro experience. And I know straight away people are going to be saying,
oops, you should definitely be moving to Final Cut, considering you're on an Apple.
But I'm comfortable with Premiere Pro. I have a workflow which is quick and easy, and honestly, I don't have time to sit and learn something new at the moment. So, Adobe, you've got me. Yes, it is lovely that Apple have given us back some of the ports again and no more dongle life, and they've removed what was pointless to me anyway, the touch bar, along with reintroducing the MagSafe power, but this video is not about that. I'm not going to go into an in-depth, full-on review about this laptop, as there are plenty of videos on the YouTube about this already. All I care about, and really the only reason I bought this laptop, was Premiere Pro performance. So let's see what the crack is, and test it. Now, before you all start, I know this isn't a like-for-like fair comparison between the two, and that's because it's not meant to be a comparison. I am expecting this to be faster, especially with the extra GPU cores, or at least I really hope so. The purpose of this video is purely to answer the question, which I'm sure many others in my situation will have. Is it worth upgrading to the latest M1 Max for Premiere Pro performance? If it is, I get much faster renders, great, job done. If not, then this is going straight back in the box, straight back to Apple for a refund, and I will consider jumping ship yet again. Right, enough chit chat, more action. So I'm testing with my Samsung Made Me Do It video, just a random one I chose, and we'll be using the exact same setup, scratch disk, program version, etc. on each laptop to make it as fair as possible. Although this is not scientific, I am still going to be stood behind camera with a stopwatch on my phone. Right, let's start with the 2020 13-inch M1, which, as you can see from the video on your screens now, took a whopping 15 minutes and 2 seconds to render out. which means getting the video ready for uploading to YouTube. Now let's render out the exact same video, as I said, with the exact same setup and see what the performance difference is in Premiere Pro with the new 2021 version. I'm really hoping it's faster. Wow, okay, as you can see on the screen, that's impressive. 4 minutes, 36 seconds to render, over 3.5 times faster. So the extra RAM and CPU cores seriously do help with render times. So there you have it, a definitive answer to my question. If you're considering the new M1 Pro Max for better Premiere Pro performance, why is that such a tongue twister? Do it. Yes, it is worth getting. I suppose I should quickly also mention that this is much better when playing back full quality previews in Premiere Pro, even with added effects and color grades. It's also very, very fast for all my day-to-day work activities and multitasking with multiple desktops, etc. And I haven't experienced a single slowdown requiring me to close any Google tabs or restart, which is impressive. The only thing, in my opinion, and it is just my opinion, that lets this down, which I suppose it has to if you want the extra ports and battery life, is that compared to the 13-inch on the go, it is uglier. In my opinion, it is just uglier. Please don't lynch me in the comments below. It's thicker, it's bulkier, and it just looks old-fashioned. But saying that, it's a beast. It's beautiful. Also, did I mention that this particular spec costs 3K. That's right, 3,000 Great British pounds, which is insane for a laptop, but the way I'm looking at it is if this can save me a few hours a month by speeding up my workflow, then those few extra hours can be spent with my family, and that time to me is priceless, so it's worth it. You're worth it.
Because I'm worth it.
So that's my brief look at the new MacBook Pro 14-inch M1 to the Max Pro on the go Pro thing, whatever it is they're calling it. If you have any specific questions about this, please do let me know down below and I'll try my best to answer them. And while you're down there,
That's what she said.
let me know any other comments, questions or feedback. If you're not already, please do consider liking and subscribing and hitting the bell to get notified of when I upload new videos, because it really does help. Until then, I would like to thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Goodbye, Internet.
Throw this chain on me like